I understand why Brock Purdy fans get upset when you call him a dink and dunk quarterback. It's not really a nice thing to say about a quarterback, and it feels a little bit like an oversimplification, like he's Christian Ponder or something, some guy who just checks the ball down all the time. And that's not Brock Purdy. He also throws really, really well over the middle in that intermediate range, 10 to 20 yards downfield. But so does Jimmy Garoppolo. And frankly, I consider Jimmy Garoppolo a dink and dunk quarterback. Why? Because defenses aren't afraid of him beating them deep. Not afraid of Jimmy Garoppolo beating you over the top with a deep ball. And I don't think they're afraid of Brock Purdy beating them over the top with a deep ball either. And if that's the case, to me, you're a dink and dunk quarterback because you're only going to see specific coverages in the playoffs, especially. The whole league is trying to play these too high safety coverages because they're terrified of getting beat deep. If they play single high coverages against Jalen Hurts is just going to instantly throw deep down the sideline and burn you. Same with Mahomes, same with Herbert, same with all the good quarterbacks. Burrow. Can't play single high coverages against these really good quarterbacks. But you can against Jimmy Garoppolo because if you do, he's not going to throw the ball deep down the sideline. And you can against Brock Purdy too. I mean, the longest throw he completed down the sideline last year was 29 yards to Brandon Ayuk, and he had to stop and wait for it. It's not his game. Brock Purdy can throw deep down the middle. It's a shorter throw. He had the deep touchdown pass to George Kittle. You play single high safety, you shouldn't give that up. Only reason to play two high safeties if you're afraid of getting beat down the sideline, and no defense, especially in the playoffs, is going to be worried about Brock Purdy beating them that way. So what you're going to see and what you saw last in the playoffs this year was cover one robber. Man-to-man, press man across the board, take away those slants and short routes. And instead of having two deep safeties, have one deep safety and like a middle linebacker playing right in front, not right in front of that safety, but underneath zone. Again, to take away that dig route, that 10 to 12 yard in-breaking route. And it's like, all right, Brock, throw something outside we're daring you to throw the ball deep and outside the numbers, will you? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. That's going to determine how far he goes and if he ever wins a Super Bowl. I think you have to have the threat of the deep ball. There's more. If a defense isn't afraid of you beating them down over the top, not only are you going to get cover one robber all the time in the playoffs, you're going to get 8-man boxes because there's no reason to play two deep safeties. And if you get 8-man boxes, that's going to hurt your running game. So eventually, even though Brock does a good job of using the entire width of the field, his perhaps inability to push it more than 25 yards down the field, more than 30 yards down the field, is going to limit the Niners offense in the biggest games against good defenses that stand in the way of them winning a Super Bowl, and they won't win it. I mean, they beat Dallas this year with 19 points. That's tough to do. You're going to have to score more than 19 points in most playoff games to win them. And it's like, we went through this with Jimmy Garoppolo already. The whole reason the Niners traded for Trey Lance, it wasn't about durability because he gets injured too. It's about the fact that he can overcome the limitations of a quarterback who's a dinker and a dunker. Because if you're a run-first team, you're going to get a lot of 8-man boxes anyway, a lot of single high coverage anyway. You want a quarterback who can make defenses pay for doing that. You play single high against Trey Lance, he can throw the ball deep down the sideline. We've seen him do it. He did it against Houston. It's only one game, but we've seen him do it. He eviscerated Houston playing the type of quarterback that we envision him playing for the 49ers. Under center, play action, enhancing the run game with his own ability to run, the threat of him running, and then when defenses overcommit to stopping the run, boom, play action over the top. Jimmy didn't give him that element. I don't think Brock gives him that element. I think Trey gives him that element, but it's all theoretical with Trey because he's only done it once, really, against Houston 2 years ago. So I'd like to see him get another chance and see if he can give the Niners that element because until they get that, I don't think they're winning a Super Bowl. They can put up as many points as they want in the regular season, but I think you gotta force these defenses to play too high coverages. You gotta force them to. And I don't think Brock can do it. Jimmy can't do it. I don't know if Trey can do it. We have to see. I mean, yes, Trey can do it, but also Trey has to do all the little things. He can't just be a guy who hands off 40 times a game and throws 3 play action passes deep. I'm not saying that's what he is, but there's no guarantee the Niners have a franchise quarterback on this team. Brock has to show that he can make defenses pay for playing cover one robber and make him pay down the sidelines. Will he? I don't know. With a repaired UCL? I don't know. I mean, Jimmy couldn't do it. And Trey needs to prove that he's a real quarterback. If not, they're on to Sam Darnold. Can Sam Darnold make defenses pay for playing cover one? I don't know. Sam Darnold. I mean, I think defenses want Sam Darnold on the field. If they had it their way, Sam Darnold would be playing every snap. Anyway, so if I just wanted to talk about this from a schematic perspective. When you call someone a dink and dunk quarterback again, it just feels like name calling. And so I understand why people could get upset by that. Hey, man, don't talk about my quarterback that way. What are you trying to say? He's not Christian Ponder. Sure. Let's talk about it from a strict schematic standpoint. Why does a quarterback have to be able to hurt a defense 35, 40 yards down the sideline? Because if you can't, you're not getting two-man, cover two, cover four. You're not getting that. You're getting cover one robber, press man, across the board, no quick throws. Hold it, throw it deep. Can you do it? No, that's what you're getting all day, especially in the playoffs. And again, you saw it. Pete Carroll did it in the first round of the playoffs. His defense was terrible. He had very few good players on his defense, and still he did that in the first half. And Brock Purdy did not look good in the first half of that game. Eventually, the Niners' talent overwhelmed Seattle, and they ran up the score on them. But Pete Carroll showed the blueprint of how to defend a Brock Purdy offense. Cover one, robber. Next week, Cowboys, who have Dan Quinn, who coached under Pete Carroll when they won a Super Bowl, did the same thing, just with a really good defense. And all of a sudden, no touchdowns for Brock Purdy. 87 quarterback rating. I mean, no, to his credit, no turnovers, unlike Dak. But all of a sudden, that high-flying, greatest show on Bermuda grass or whatever, it was gone. All because they took away the middle of the field, dared him to throw deep, and he couldn't. Other teams are going to do that too, especially in the playoffs. How many playoff runs are we going to have to get to where the Niners don't win the Super Bowl because of this stuff at quarterback before you realize, there was a reason they traded three. I'm not saying Trey's the guy, but there's a reason they traded 3 first-round picks for that skill set. It's not about having the cheapest quarterback. It's not about having, a guy who's the most efficient 20 yards and in. They tried that with Jimmy Garoppolo. You need more. You need fewer limitations. And again, I don't know if Trey Lance is going to put it all together, but the limitation is there. With Brock, it's the arm again. Love what he can do with his legs. I love all that, but it's the arm again. Can you push it down the field? Can you make defenses pay for playing cover one? We'll see. Maybe. But I think it's fair to be skeptical of that. It's fair to trust your eyes and be like, look, man, the longest throw he completed down the sideline was 29 yards last year, and then he tore his UCL. That just might not be in his game. And honestly, for the last pick in the draft, who now has a torn UCL or a surgically repaired UCL, if he can't quite push it down the sideline 30, 40 yards, if that's a limitation of his game, sue him. He's already the best Mr. Irrelevant pick of all time. I mean, he's on the team for 3 more years. If he's your backup quarterback, you have the best backup quarterback in the league. If he's your starting quarterback, you have, one of the 20 best starting quarterbacks in the league. Like, you could do a lot worse than Brock Purdy. A lot worse. But this team is trying to win a Super Bowl. And it is the most important position. And it's really hard to win a Super Bowl unless you either have a Hall of Fame youngster. I mean, every quarterback who's younger than 28 that won a Super Bowl is just really, 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 really talented. Maybe Brock's that guy. Or, I don't know. Anyway, look at the coverages. Look at the coverages Brock has to face when he comes back. Is it a lot of 8-man boxes? Is it a lot of single high safety? Because most franchise quarterbacks in the NFL don't get treated like that. If you're a franchise quarterback in the NFL, defenses are scared of you. They're scared of your deep ball, and they play too high all day and force you to check it down. They want you to they make you a dink and dunker, right? If you're a franchise quarterback, they say, please dink and dunk. Just don't beat us deep. With Brock, let's see how defenses treat him. Do they want him to dink and dunk, or do they say, nah, man, that's what you do? We're gonna put 8 in the box. We're gonna put a robber underneath. We're gonna play press man coverages. We're not gonna give you quick throws, buddy. We're gonna We are going to cordially invite you to throw the ball down the field. Do you? That's what's going to happen, man. And that's not how defenses, especially in the playoffs, with the season on the line, treat franchise quarterbacks. It's how they treated Jimmy. Let's see how they treat Brock.